Welcome back. The story of King Kong began in 1933 at a moment when Hollywood was discovering what cinema could do. The original film was a breakthrough in every sense. It told a simple but unforgettable story. An ambitious film crew travels to a mysterious island, discovers a giant ape named Kong, brings him back to New York, and destroys him when he breaks free. Using pioneering stop-motion animation by Willis O'Brien, combined with live action footage, the filmmakers created a creature that felt both unusual and deeply alive. Kong wasn't just a monster, he had weight, personality, and emotions. Audiences didn't just fear him, they felt something for him. That blend of spectacle and sympathy turned Kong into an immediate cultural icon. Part beast, part tragic figure, and one of cinema's first truly iconic movie monsters. Over the decades, Kong was repeatedly reimagined, but the 1976 remake and this week's episode stands out because it reflects a different America. By the 1970s, the United States was shaped by the aftermath of the Vietnam War and the Watergate scandal. Public trust in government, corporations, and large institutions had been deeply shaken. That skepticism quietly reshaped the way King Kong was told. In this version, the expedition to Skull Island was no longer driven by artistic curiosity or adventure. Instead, it's led by Petrox, an oil corporation searching for energy resources. The shift is significant. Exploration is replaced by extraction, and discovery is replaced by exploitation. Kong is no longer a mysterious creature in an unknown land. He becomes something a corporate system believes it can own, control, and profit from. The film's antagonist, Fred Wilson, embodies this mindset. He speaks the language of efficiency, profit, and progress, treating Kong not as a living being, but as an asset waiting to be leveraged. The 1976 film embraces spectacle in a way that feels distinct of its era. With large-scale practical effects, including a massive animatronic version of Kong, it leans into physicality and scale. The creature feels less like an illusion created frame by frame and more like something occupying real space, reinforcing the film's emphasis on impact and presence over technical artistry alone. Released during a period when Hollywood was beginning to embrace the modern blockbuster movie, it arrived just after the success of films like Jaws. Backed by a major studio push and heavy marketing, it drew huge audiences and helped solidify the idea of the event film, a movie designed not just to be watched, but experienced on a massive scale. Another key shift was emotional tone. The relationship between Kong and Dwan introduces a more overt romantic element, but it is also more mediative and performative. Their connection unfolds under constant observation, turning intimacy into something intertwined and spectacle. Kong is framed less as an aggressor than as a being reacted to a world that exploited and misunderstood him. The forces that bring him down, corporate ambition, military response, and public spectacle, feel less heroic and more complicit. In that sense, the question of who is the real monster becomes central. That ambiguity reflects a broader post-Vietnam cinematic sensibility, where clear moral categories were often replaced by discomforts and doubt. Power structures were no longer automatically trustworthy, and destruction often felt like a failure of systems rather than a necessary act of justice. The 1976 version of King Kong matters not just because it remade a classic story, but because it often reframed it for a different America. It turned Kong into a mirror for society grappling with corporate power, media spectacle, and the lingering aftermath of political disillusionment. And in doing so, it transformed a familiar monster story into something more reflective, a tragedy about what happens when life itself becomes something to consume. So go ahead and give the subscribe button a pounding of the chest, so you never miss a thing. We enjoyed bringing you King Kong. It was a true classic. We enjoyed it. And coming up in a few weeks is our annual Summer Lovin' series. So you're gonna want to subscribe to the Real Relationships podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get podcasts. Thank you for continuing to support this channel, and be sure to follow us on all of the socials. We bring you great content throughout the week. Stay safe. Don't go exploiting any animals, and we will see you soon.